I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Impeachment, American Crime Story, is the third season of the FX True Crime Anthology TV series. It consists of 10 episodes. The season portrays the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal and is based on the book A Vast Conspiracy, The Real Stories of Sex Scandal That Nearly Brought Down the President by Jeffrey Toobin. The cast includes Sarah Paulson, Annaleigh Ashford, Judith Light, Beanie Feldstein, Clive Owen, Margot Martindale, Edie Falco, and Colin Hanks. Impeachment is an engrossing and engaging series that kept me riveted throughout. I've been a fan of the American Crime Story series after Series 1 discussed the O.J. Simpson case and Season 2 went on to uncover the Versace murder. Now, of course, all of this is conjecture. No one knows exactly what was said behind closed doors, but I still feel the series treats the sensitive subject with great respect. Monica Lewinsky herself actually produced the series, so you imagine she had a lot of say and input in telling her side of the story, as it were. The acting is magnificent, and I was particularly blown away by Sarah Paulson, who plays the betrayer, Linda Tripp. She is almost unrecognizable with the prosthetics they added to her face, but it is her role that really anchors the whole show. I was initially hesitant on Beanie Feldstein's interpretation of Monica Lewinsky, as I found her to be overacting. Particularly later in the series, though, she gets into her stride and handles the role very well. A role that is not easy in nature to play, as she wriggles her way through so many conflicting emotions at the center of this whole debacle. I was surprised at the casting of Clive Owen as President Bill Clinton. At first, he wasn't too convincing for me, but he won me over as he found his feet in the role. Albeit that the makeup wasn't quite entirely convincing, it was more his own performance that really won me over. His use of tenses and the particular slow southern drawl, famous to Bill Clinton's way of speaking, that really pulled me in later on. I did find it, however, hard to believe Edie Falco as Hillary. Edie Falco, of course, very famous for playing the lead role in The Sopranos. In this role, though, she never quite got me to believe that she was actually Hillary Clinton, albeit that her acting is on point. I did, however, love Annaleigh Ashford's take on Paula Jones. She just found a way with her innocence and naivety to elicit such sympathy from the role. In saying all of this, though, Impeachment is a well-made show, and you will learn a lot about this most famous sordid affair. You will be transported back to the 90s when the scandal broke out. I love the use of actual footage from the time, from talk shows to news reports to the actual Saturday Night Live sketches with John Goodman portraying Linda Tripp. The series certainly doesn't portray Bill Clinton in a shining light, as he used and abused his power to charm and engage in illicit sexual acts with so many women. And albeit consensual, he played and took advantage of a young and impressionable Monica Lewinsky. He was lucky in many ways that the Me Too movement hadn't gained stride in the 90s, as his constant philandering and inability to resist temptation cast a long shadow over his presidency. Unfortunately, though, for a young Monica Lewinsky, she became embroiled in a political hailstorm, as those on the opposite side wanted Clinton out no matter what, and she became used as a political pawn, rendering her private life open for all to see, at just the age of 24. She was even held by the FBI for 12 hours like a criminal without being allowed to see her lawyer. She was crucified in the media and became mocked daily on comedy shows. She was judged by the public, lambasted as a slut, and almost ostracized in society. Now, albeit you can't overlook her part within the affair, and her attempt to commit perjury initially was wrong, but unfortunately was also made all the worse by those using their political sway to gain notoriety. On the other end, you see how this affected Hillary as a wife, not just as a first lady. There's one scene I enjoyed particularly between Hillary and Bill, discussing their relationship and how they would move forward. I loved imagining if I was really there, if I was a fly on the wall witnessing these two influential figures in history, discussing their relationship as people and how they would go forth in the light of these harsh truths. The primary part of the story that plays out, though, is the relationship between Monica Lewinsky and Linda Tripp. They became close friends, and Linda even became a mother-like figure to young Monica Lewinsky. All the while, though, she is plotting against Monica to try and gain notoriety and bring down Bill Clinton. She even recorded hours and hours of their personal phone calls, just so she could sell the book rights. Now, Linda Tripp will go down as a very complicated person in history. Many people have preconceived ideas of who she really was. They often view her as the betrayer, a Judas, if you will. But this show gives her a three-dimensional character. Sarah Paulson summed up the role best when she said, "Linda was a wonderful mother and had a lot of attributes of being a good human being, but what she did was unforgivable, and it's a very mysterious thing. And that sums it up well. Linda had her reasons, and the show goes a long way to try and explain why she did what she did. But fundamentally it comes down to what you believe, and what her reason was to sell out Monica. Linda Tripp unfortunately lost her life in April of 2020. All in all, Impeachment is a well-made and interesting series, done with respect. It will cause controversy, as often takes on real historic events do, as there are always three sides to a story after all. Whatever version though you believe, it is riveting and highly entertaining, and will fit in nicely with the other two superb seasons in the American crime story anthology. Impeachment gets an 8 out of 10.